Hello, everyone. I hope your day is starting off as fantastic as it can. It's early morning here in the greatest country on earth, Canada, a country that is so filled with natural beauty that even my little dog Marty was in awe this morning, and I snapped this picture of him just in the backyard. Our country is so naturally beautiful that even Marty's little poop could not spoil this picture, and I guarantee no matter how hard you look, you will not be able to find the poop. It's going to be a big day today as Parliament is resuming after months of being closed. And guys, just stop looking for the poop in the picture before. We've got politics to talk about. The first order of business is the speech from the throne, which will be delivered by King Charles, who is in Canada. He will be reading the speech from the throne. He's not writing the speech. Mark Carney is writing the speech, and the king will read the speech. The choice of having the king read the throne speech is symbolic and is meant to display to the world, and in particular to our southern neighbors, of our close ties with the United Kingdom. And it's expected that King Charles will talk about Canada's sovereignty and independence. It's always good when you have a king from a foreign country come to your country and talk about your sovereignty. But that's the way it is. It's meant to highlight the importance of tradition and friendship and how Canada has lots of traditions and lots of friends in the world. And in the midst of all this pomp and ceremony that's about to unfold in our country this morning, there's one particular American that decided to come here and give us a message. His name is Pete Hoekstra, and he is the United States ambassador to Canada. And he just told Canadians in an interview that there's easier ways to send messages to Trump than bringing in the king. Canada should move on from Trump's 51st state remarks, he said. I'll read his quotes here as reported on a CBC News article. When asked to comment on Donald Trump's constant threats to want to make Canada the 51st state, he said, and I quote, "Move on. If the Canadians want to keep talking about it, that's their business. I'm not talking about it. Donald Trump is not talking about it. We've got too much on our plate to move forward because we're all about increasing America's prosperity, safety, and security. We've got too much on our plate now to discuss this." He went on to say, "We're thrilled that the king will be here." He said this in an interview with CBC's The House. He said, "If there's a message in there, there's easier ways to send messages. Just give me a call. Or Carney can call the president anytime." Now, hearing his comments, you may be thinking to yourself, what is this guy's actual job description? And let me explain it for you. This particular American and hundreds of other Americans that have jobs in various countries around the world where they get to wear nice clothes and go to expensive dinners and live in really nice accommodations, their job is this. When their economically illiterate boss insults, bullies, and threatens countries all over the world, it's this guy's job, and hundreds of other Americans like him in other countries, it's their job to try and American-splain to us what their boss really meant. And he's letting us know that we as Canadians now should just move on because they're really busy with lots of other things on their plate to really take seriously the threat of annexing our country. And if we really wanted to get our relationship back on track, we should just pick up the phone and call. Now, I know that the U.S. ambassador here is faced with a tough job trying to American-splain this issue to us. Let me try and explain it to you with an analogy. And I assume that this gentleman has a partner that he shares his life with. Let's assume that he's married and has a wife for this analogy. Now, if over the past 4 months you had been telling your close friend and partner, your wife, that you don't really need anything that she has, that she's been really nasty to you, that she's been ripping you off for many, many years and you've had enough of it, that you've really just been subsidizing her existence for that period of time, and that without you, really she would cease to have any identity, and it would make much more sense for her to just give up her identity and become part of you. And that the only reason she's a person at all is because you're so great. Now, if you had been spewing that rhetoric to your wife for the past 4 months, chances are that she's probably spending less time with you and communicating with you a little bit less these days, and maybe spending more time with her friends. So if this were the case, and carrying on with the analogy, it's probably not a good idea or a very effective strategy for you to say, ask one of your friends, one of your ambassadors, to just go meet with your wife and let her know that she should probably just move on. You're not talking about it anymore. You're much too busy with other things. And if she wants to get the relationship back on track, she should just call you. Dude, seriously, you need to learn to read the room. continuing with this analogy, I would propose that it might be a better strategy for you to say, go to a nice flower shop and buy your wife a really expensive bouquet and gift it to her with a heartfelt apology note, and then beg for her forgiveness. And after that, if she's stupid enough to have you back, she would need to have her brains examined.
51st states not coming back. The president may bring it up every once in a while, but he recognizes it's not going to happen unless the prime minister engages with the president.
Does the president and his administration understand the effect his comments are having on the relationship with Canada and how Canadians feel when they hear him make that comment?
I'm sure he did. The president's a smart guy, okay? But from my perspective, I think the president, that's behind us, okay?
Honey, the bullying rhetoric, the insults and the threats for the past 4 months, that's behind us. Just give me a call. We need to move forward. As he said, and I'll quote again, if there's a message in there, there's easier ways to send messages. Just give me a call. Carney can call the president at any time. And I think that's a really good idea, Mr. Ambassador. And his name escapes me now, but I don't think that I'll ever need to remember his name for the rest of my life. I think you're onto something. You should go back to your office and you should sit by your phone and wait for us to call. That's a great idea. And while you're waiting, we'll be really busy, as we were between February and March, when the percentage of our total trade, which dropped 6.6% from the United States, increased 4% with Mexico, 3.4% with Japan, 52% with Germany, 93% with the United Kingdom, 27% with South Korea, and 75% with the Netherlands. We'll be really busy, as reported here by the Canadian Energy Centre. As LNG opens new markets for Canadian natural gas, reliance on U.S. is ready to decline. We'll be really busy, as described in this article by the Associated Press. Canada buys Australian radar system as Europe and America's northern neighbor eye weaning themselves off U.S. military gear. We'll be really busy here, as outlined on this graph of Canadian exports of crude oil to China, which have skyrocketed in the last quarter. Chinese imports of Canadian oil skyrocketing by about the same amount as Chinese imports of U.S. oil have plummeted. Shown on this graph from Bloomberg, Chinese imports of U.S. oil in blue heading straight down, and Chinese imports of Canadian oil heading straight up. We're busy doing that. We're also really busy emerging as a significant LNG supplier for Japan, with projects like LNG Canada, Cedar LNG, and Wood Fiber LNG poised to ship substantial volumes to Japan. That takes time for us to do that. We're really busy doing that. And we've been really busy talking to a lot of our friends, making deals all around the world. We have friends, unlike you. Our airlines have been really busy, pausing or canceling Canada-US flights in the wake of the trade war, as reported here on CTV News. Some of Canada's major airlines have made changes to their schedules, including pausing, which is a polite Canadian way of saying canceling flights between Canada and United States, and increasing domestic flights in the wake of lower demand to fly south, which may be tied to the tariff war between the two countries. It may be, or it might be tied to your president wanting to make us the 51st state, or it may be tied to your president's rhetoric saying that without the United States, Canada really ceases to be a country. It may be tied to a couple of those things. Yeah, we've been really busy lately removing all U.S. alcohol from all shelves of all liquor stores in Canada. That's taken a lot of time. We're really busy doing that. We've been really busy lately not visiting the United States, as reported by CTV News here. Canadian travel to U.S. continues steep decline, data shows. We just don't have time to visit. We're so busy. So dude, I know that you're just trying to do your job, but we all know that whatever you say is meaningless. The guy that really runs the show in your country is this guy. So seeing as most companies and government officials are so busy doing all those things that we don't really have time to call you, I thought I would prepare a statement on behalf of 40 million Canadians and reply to your comments. Being a polite Canadian, I won't read it here. I'll have one of your fellow Americans read my statement for you. And I'll ask you, Mr. Ambassador, whatever your name is, to listen carefully.
Go yourself. Is that clear?
Have a fantastic rest of your day, everyone. And rather than trying to decipher and listening to the musings of a mouthpiece from the United States, go out and enjoy your day. I know little Marty wants to get back outside and enjoy his. The nicest and easiest thing you can do to support my work is simply to subscribe to the channel and maybe share the video on your social media and try and get more people's eyes on the videos to increase the video's scope on YouTube. Have a fantastic day. I'll read your comments and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Okay, Marty, I'm ready. Let's go for your walk.